It's time for big changes, big changes in all the areas that need that change in order for us to go into something amazing. It is happening, but I want you to prepare for big changes. Here's how you can do it, because if you do this, gateways will open for you in the most amazing way. I really mean this. Are you ready for that? Let's talk about the big changes to come and how you can transition through them and go into a space that you never imagined possible. You ready? Let's go. Welcome to Landria Onkka on YouTube, here to help you break through those fears and live an amazing life. Do you notice a difference? Looking a little bit more like Atlanta, yeah? Well, I did make my big change, just one of many to come. This is going to happen for all of us. What do we need to do to get through them? All of the changes. What do we need to do in order to not only transition into the positive aspects of the changes, but to go out of the fear, go out of the anxiety and the troublesome what's going to happen next kind of mentality that most people are in right now? Get ready for this. What do you need to do to get through these big changes? Number one is to embrace them. Now, it's usually the opposite what we do. Struggle against anything causes anxiety. But these big changes, you have to remember, they're happening for a specific reason, and that is because whatever we were doing wasn't working, right? So what's going to happen with that? We must open ourselves up to that new world where it's going to transition in ways we couldn't imagine. So we have to let go of what that is. Now, the big changes, yes, financial changes globally, how we handle our health and our health care. Financially, yes, it will affect many areas of our lives, but let me share something with you. And if you watch my video on astrological energy fields, we're lined up. All of us are, every zodiac sign is lined up for a massively positive change. In other words, huge gains in so many areas, but that can't happen if you battle it and struggle it and try to hang on to what you know. Because what you know isn't working, is it? Okay, so let's talk about every area of your life. Are there relationships that need to change? Are there dynamics about where you live, how you live that need to change? How about how you earn your money? You guys hear me talk about that all the time. Every area of your life has to embrace whatever's presented to you without judgment of whether it's working or not, because there's no such thing as failure. So when you go into a change and you just go with it, like I did, I moved to Florida. I've never really been a big fan of Florida, by the way. And I just said, what the heck? What's the worst can happen? I can move back. I came here. I knew that for some reason I was driven here through various people. And then I realized, wait a second, I keep getting led to the better and the better and the better. And that's what this represents for me, is there's always something better that I envision, yet I don't require. And that's what I want to share with you today. Now, if you're in Manifest Anything, it's free, so you can sign up for that. I help you to go through these stages of knowing that you really are sending that message to the universe of how things work and what's good and what's bad, because it always just is 100% a reflection of this, what you're putting out, because you are 100% a creator. So these big changes happening are part of our collective of making choices that weren't necessarily good for the whole, but the self, that can never have a pleasant ending, because when you're not working with the whole, then everything will start to go wrong. Now think about this. What if I took care of this finger, just this finger and nothing else, right? And then I was just, it was wonderful, and then what happened? Everything else starts to go to, in a handbasket. And that's how we work. So we have been operating in a level where we have been taking care of self and separating ourselves, which creates disharmony. What happens when there's disharmony? Things aren't working together that could be so much more powerful. Now we're learning. We must work together as a community. So what's going to happen for you this year, this coming year and beyond? Now it's 2022 to several years. So it's not just like, oh, this is over with. It's never going to be over with. It's just going to transition into something new. We're just going to start handling things differently, okay? So no matter what new strain of whatever shows up or whatever economic thing shows up, we have to know, how are we going to handle this? Are we going to be in fear because it is change and we don't like change and we feel like it's happening to us? Or are we going to now take charge and say, I am going to be the change. I get to choose that change. I get to create that. Now, I did a video just, I think it's on right now, where I tell you, you can predict your own future. You can predict your own future, because that future that anybody predicts for you is a product of what you've been directing. So if I've been directing certain things about what I feel about the world, and a psychic comes in and talks to me, he or she will say, oh, well, blah, blah, blah is happening, whatever, and I sense disharmony. And you'll say, oh, yes, that's true. And they're just reading what you're creating, but they can't change anything. You change it. So if you decide, I don't want to live like that anymore, I choose to live a completely different life. Now, somebody left a comment and they said, I'd rather be broke and giving than wealthy and selfish. And I said, why do you have to be selfish if you're wealthy? But that's that mentality that it's better to be broke and giving than wealthy and selfish. And this is conditioning that we have, that we're afraid to go into abundance. We're afraid to go into really spoiling ourselves, and because we feel like it's selfish, but it doesn't have to be. So this is when we start to make different choices. In other words, you're saying it is okay for everyone to be abundant. As long as your intentions are good, you can live an amazing life. I can say, as I'm walking the bridge, oh my gosh, I see myself in that condo. I just saw myself in the condo, and sure enough, like an hour later, I got a condo that had been taken already. How did that happen? I didn't see the limitations, and I didn't have a problem with getting something I really wanted. All right, because me being here doesn't take away from anybody else. And I want you to remember that. So everything that you do should be geared for the betterment of yourself and others. And when you're healthy, you put that into the collective. So this big changes that are happening are always going to lead us to better, amazing ways. If you open yourself up to them, if you battle them, then you have the separation and the way we've been behaving before, right? So do you see how this works? All right, so are you ready? Are you ready to open up the gateways to amazing things? It exists right now. Every probability is. I'm here to tell you that that world exists, and you are here to help go into that world. But you don't have to choose it individually. If you still have ideas about how things work and what's fair and right, then you know what? Don't go ahead and work through that. But huge things will happen because we haven't taken care of the whole. So if you are whole-minded and unified, community and love, happiness, caring, giving, and you get limitations out of your head, you will go into a creative state instead of a victim state of what's happening to me. You will say, I'm happening. I am happening. Right? So can we go into that now? Yes, it's happening now. It's been happening for years. And because more of us are going into the awakened state, more of us are actually learning how to be a new person in a new world, even if other things are going on around us. And accepting that that's part of the transition that will happen, and that too will change. So don't be frustrated with that, okay? You're fine. Everybody's going to be fine. You can't expire. Nothing ever happens to you, right? You get to pick your journey, and it's an amazing, beautiful one. So sit down and create that future. What's the prediction that you want to make about yourself? Be the person and start to act that way. Eliminate that negative thinking, the limitations, thinking that things are a certain way, and that's not taking power and control. Now, if you're going to manifest anything which is free, I keep telling you over and over, you have to know that there are no limitations. You have to know that any limitations or things that you tell yourself are created, self-created, and a lot of programming from out there. We have to look past it. Somebody said they love to play the games where they kill people. Is that okay? They don't want to do it in real life, and is that going to affect me? Absolutely, 100%. That's programming. You're programmed and you're addicted to it. Proof that it works. That outside sources that would make money off of programs where you can kill people. They are making money by getting you addicted to violence. And you don't want to give it up. And you're asking if it's going to change your energy field. Absolutely will. We have to shut it down. It's not easy for addicts to give things up. This is really the state of the being that we're in. So I'm going to do a whole video on this because this is a programming that we are now seeing past, the matrix programming, not of a program outside of us, but other humans. On lower densities, self-serving, separation, let's be in opposition, let's program you. Well, you're not going to do it in real life, but let's program you on a game of some kind. And then that negativity is there and you're carrying it with you. Get out of that one, because that one is absolutely a programming to keep you out of that high frequency where the gateway's open for beautiful things. All right, yes, everything counts. I'm sorry about that. Here's a free video series on creating online businesses, creating new income, side income, a whole new business for yourself. Be a coach, be artistic, be an affiliate, whatever you want to do. Start to take charge. Be the creator. No more it's happening out here, let's watch. Be the next amazing thing that's happening out there. Are you ready for it? You are ready for it, and I'm going to show you more and more of my beautiful place. And here, I'll turn it around for just a moment so you can see that I am right here on the water. That is actually the bay and a pool out there. So pretty cool, huh? You know what? Anything's possible. Never say never. All right, you're whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. Blessings to you, my friend. Namaste.